Hey friends, welcome back. Now, let's do one final evaluation on our table concept, which we have done so far. So let's say we would like to figure out customers we have lost. Now again, it really depends on the business you are running, right? Because you could say I have a business where my customer base needs to order at least once a month or maybe more off the month because we are selling groceries, for instance, or we utility company, we are selling a product which customer needs on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, anything like that. Right. So then of course you would consider a customer you have lost differently concern the time period than maybe a company which sells automobiles, so cars, right, and things like that. So as I said, it depends on the specific that business, but the concept itself, you can apply this to each business you want, right? So each of you use cases now. Let's say we specify a customer's loss as customers which ordered within, let's say, that last year. So let's say the last 365 days but have not ordered in the last 30 days. So how to actually figure out how many customers we have lost if this is what we would consider as a lost customer? So you see again, it really depends on the business context. But if we do it, we could use some kind of similar measure to what we've done so far with the new customers. And that is why I will copy a little bit of the formula. So you don't have to write everything again. Because I think the concept is clear, but of course we go through this one more time. So if I say I'd like to see my new customers, the measure one more time, this one here. So that's fine, and we need to do something kind of similar. However, what we like to do is we like to use this calculate table function. So we can copy what we have here, this concept here. So because this is what we use, so customers which have ordered the last 30 days. Which are these, right? We already talked about that. I can copy this and then I right-click on my measures table to create a new measure. So in this new measure would be called customers. Customers lost. Okay, customers lost is equal to, let me press Shift Enter to go to new line. And then I will define variables. So let me actually paste maybe this inside already. So we got our first variable in here, which is this one here. Maybe of course you could go in here like that, tap. So this is where we specify all the customers which have ordered the last 30 days. And we need something kind of similar to that for customers who have ordered in the last 365 days, but not in the last 30 days. So it's kind of actually the same formulas here. So let's actually copy this and maybe go into here and paste this inside. So we got our second variable. However, we need to modify this because this is of course last, let's say, last 365 days like that, and actually it should be 365 minus 30, right? But I get the concept if I briefly talk about that. So we want to calculate the table also. We evaluate here the customer days. We make sure that we only get the customize which are in the dates table, but only those which have been ordered by where the dates table is greater than the minimum of the dates table, minus, not minus 30 now, but minus 365. Okay, so this makes sure that the bottom, so the lower threshold we set is actually the specific date we have in the visual. Let's say this case, if it would be example here, would be April 2020, then of course the 365 prior days, it would be April 2019, right? More or less depending on what kind of year it is, but I think you get the point. So this is what we store here, and then at the same time, we want to make sure that it's not in the last month. That is why we say that dates table is less than the minimum dates table, and here we subtract now the 30 minus 30, okay, like that. So this allows us, of course, sorry, this must be behind this like that. Okay, here we go. So this allows us now to evaluate all custom IDs from the last 365 days, which do not appear, or in this case we remove the last 30 days, and then we evaluate here all the custom IDs which appear in the last 30 days, right? That's what you do here, and Now the trick of course when we return something is the same as we've done before, so we use the return keyword return. And then we specify here for our return that we would like to see here the distinct, in this case that count rows, so count rows here and evaluate here. Again with the exact function which we already know here, all the rows which are in the city scene customers are the first table here, these ones which do not appear in the second table. So customer 30 days, this one here. Okay, so use all the customers in the last 365 days. Which do not appear here in the last 30 days, that one this expression can evaluate here. You can close this now, and then you can also close the counter assumption, and that's basically it. So a slight modification actually of this one here, but this here is actually kind of a copy of the second one. We only modified here the number of days, and this of course as I said before depends on your use case. You can modify this to whatever kind of numbers you want. So let's evaluate this for now. Go here. Okay, we got the customer slot, and let's actually also use this table. So you don't need to recreate it, and also at this last measure. I'm here like this one here. And then we can see the different kinds of values in here. And if I scroll down I see a slightly issue here, because you see that it also evaluates here further to the end. So all these months here. So this is not what I want. I want to get rid of those because here I have the blank entries. So we need to modify our measure a little bit if we go back to the customer loss. And want to make sure that we only show this if we actually have customers. So we could check for that. Whether there are distinct customers in the view, because remember we have a measure created which is referring here to this. Unique customers we called it, and unique customers here is the distinct count of customers. And these unique customers appear until May, because this is the last entry in the data set, and then unique or distinct. Sync count customers or unique customers is empty. So we can check for that and ensure we only evaluate the lost customers. If we actually have a value for unique customers. So let's do that. Let's go to the customer loss. And make sure that this is what we want to return. But only if there is a measure or a value for distinct customers or unique customers, which we call it. So let's say if in this case the function then we check for is blank. And then the value for this blank will be our unique customers. There we go. This one here. So if this is the case, then we don't want to show anything. That is why the result true will be blank. Blank. Otherwise, we would like to show what we have evaluated, the count rows except, and so on. Like this, okay, and then of course we also need to close the if function here. Let me actually also go here and maybe. Yep, evaluate that about okay, and we are good to go. So this just checks whether there is actually a customer in the specific month. And if there's none, then don't show anything, otherwise do exactly what we have told you to do. So evaluate the lost customers, and if you press enter now. To do this, let's go back, and now we should not see, as you can see here. Our table ends really in May 2021 because this is the last month where I have actually data inside. And I don't see all these empty values. Okay, so this would be a way to do that. And maybe finally one thing we could also say, because these are lost customers. And you want to evaluate this with a minus. Let's say instead of showing 18 here, we'd like to see minus 18. Then again, just modify this formula slightly in case you want, say here simply before the end of the if you can multiply this. You can simply type in times -1 if you want to do that. There's shifts then from plus to minus. And now if we go here, you see that now you got -18, -24, and so on. Okay. And it depends how you want to visualize that. But yeah, that's it. That's then the customer lost. So the formula itself kind of similar to what we've done before. So you see that if you have set up your basic formula, you simply sometimes only need to modify it slightly and you get exactly the specific insight you want, and not really much work, but of course you need to know how to do it. So hopefully the whole concept about table functions and what we've done here, evaluating new customers, lost customers and so on, was interesting to you. Now that's actually it, the last video for the series about table functions. But it was interesting, was advanced. So please take a closer look one more time. It's always good to rehearse, but I'm sure you get it and hopefully, or hope very much, that you can use this in your future projects. So thanks a lot for your attention as always, and I wish you all the best. Hopefully see you in the next video. Until then, let's guys.